ordinance.
I'd like to call the Gurnee Village Board regular meeting of April 16, 2018 to order. Roll call, please, Andy.
Thorstensen.
Yes, here.
Jacobs. Here. Ross. Garner. Here. Balmas.
Present.
Hood.
Here.
5 present.
So both Mayor Kavark and Trustee Ross let us know that they would not be able to attend tonight, so it would be appropriate this time for a motion for a Mayor Pro Tem to chair the meeting for us.
So moved. Jeannie Balmas.
I have a motion from Trustee Hood for Trustee Balmas, second by Trustee Jacobs. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. All righty. Trustee Balmas will serve as Pro Tem.
All right. If you all join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we'll open the floor for public comment if there was any reason anybody wants to get up. Guess we're at the end of the meeting, we can try it again. All right, moving on, approval of consent agenda.
So moved.
Presented.
Second.
First by Trustee Garner, second by Trustee Jacobs. Is that a roll call?
Roll call.
Roll call vote, please.
Thorstensen.
Yes.
Jacobs. Aye. Garner. Aye. Balmas.
Aye.
Hood.
Yes.
5 aye.
All right. Pat, would you read it into?
Item number 1, approval of the minutes from the executive closed session meetings on August 21st, 2017 and October 23rd, 2017. Item number 2, approval of public release of minutes from executive closed session meetings on August 21st, 2017 and October 23rd, 2017. Item number 3, approval of minutes from the April 2nd, 2018 Village Board meeting. Item number 4, approval of ordinance 2018-34, authorizing an extension to the professional service agreement with Clark Environmental Mosquito Management, Inc. for the 2018 through 2020 mosquito abatement programs at a cost of $103,077 per year. Item number 5, approval of resolution 2018-04, authorizing the village administrator to negotiate and approve a contract with an electricity supplier as obtained through the Northern Illinois Municipal Electric Cooperative NIMEC Village-Wide Electric Aggregation Program. Item number 6, approval of payroll for period ending March 30th, 2018 in the amount of $793,984.94. Item number 7, approval of bills for period ending April 16th, 2018 in the amount of $723,480.54.
Thank you. Roll call vote
Motion to approve.
You get
for
a
approval.
motion?
Oh, motion, I'm sorry.
So moved.
Second. All right, I have a first by Trustee Jacobs and a second by Trustee Thorstensen. Roll call vote, Andy?
Thorstensen.
Yes.
Jacobs. Aye. Garner. Aye. Balmas.
Aye.
Hood.
Yes.
5 aye.
Okay, moving on to petitions and communications. We have a proclamation, approval of proclamation designating April 27th of 2018 as Arbor Day in the village of Gurnee. Whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special date be set aside for the planting of trees. And this holiday, called Arbor Day, was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska. And in 2018 is the 146th anniversary of the holiday, and Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world. And trees are an environmentally responsible way to reduce the erosion of topsoil by wind and water, cut heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife. And trees are a renewable resource, giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. And trees in our village increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community. And the Village of Gurnee continues to receive recognition as a Tree City USA by the National Arbor Day Foundation. Now, therefore, we do hereby proclaim April 27th, 2018 to be Arbor Day in the Village of Gurnee, and hereby urge all citizens to celebrate and support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands. And do I have a motion for
So
approval?
moved.
Second.
Motion by trustee Jacobs and a second by trustee Garner.
Voice vote, not like, just a voice vote.
And a voice, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carried. All right, going forward in reports, we have an update from our Economic Development Director, Ellen Dean, on East Grand Avenue Farmers and Artisan Market.
Thank you very much. Excited to fill you in on some plans that we're working on for East Grand. Most of you know, I think, that a group of merchants and residents actually began meeting together last summer actively to try to promote the corridor, come up with ways to do that. They kind of made their public debut at Gurnee Days in the parade with a beautiful float, courtesy of Gurnee Garden Center. And then shortly thereafter, we kicked off a 20-week promotion called the Grand Giveaway, $1,000 over 20 weeks. And the idea there was to keep residents coming back and back and back to the corridor so they could enter again. So since that time, the discussion has really started to turn toward events. How can we offer some special events, whether those be scavenger hunts or fall music events, fall festival, things like that, that would continue to attract families to the area so they could kind of rediscover it and realize, what was there and then keep coming back for shopping and services. So with the Gurnee Farmers Market no longer being organized by the Park District, the East Grand Group felt there might be an opportunity here on a more limited scale to reintroduce a farmers market type event, add some family entertainment, hold it on a weekend so that it could be a family day out and hopefully attract more people than on a Friday morning. And so that we really started exploring that idea. The Park District was very helpful in feeding us ideas and getting us started. So we are actively in the planning stages for that, and that's really the purpose for our discussion tonight, is just to let you know where we're at. The site plan here is very preliminary. The owner of this shopping center where the old Walton Market used to be has agreed to host the event. The village would assume the umbrella costs for it, so that would be the event insurance, electricity, tables, chairs, a generator, things like that. I think this is budgeted funds in the marketing budget, but the cost this first year could approach $10,000. I wouldn't be surprised. Just to be full disclosure on that. In addition to the booths, so we're showing here the market booths, very typical farmers market sort of layout, but near Grand Avenue, so that as folks are driving down the road, they see the color, they see the activity, and hopefully want to stop. We're proposing 4 dates, so kind of dipping our toe in the water, all on Sundays, all in the prime harvest season. So farmers markets usually start in June, end in October. The busiest season is that July to October timeframe. There's the most variety of produce. So that's when we're hitting the market. In addition to the vendors, we'd like to offer some public services. So we have a little spot here set aside for public safety or child safety seat checks. We'd also like to work with the fire department and public works to see if there are pieces of equipment they'd like to show or services they'd like to offer. So as we are approaching now late spring, we are in full recruitment mode. We have retained the services of Julie Jason, who manages the Grays Lake Market. Julie is off to a roaring start. So we're kind of dividing this into two. I'll go over these categories in a minute, but Julie is going to assume the recruitment of the sort of traditional farmers market vendors, farmers and artisans. I'm going to head up the recruitment of Gurnee businesses. So we think it's a great opportunity for both. We think you need the farmers market vendors to attract people. That's the whole idea of having a special event. So there's certainly a lot of folks in town that I think would be happy to see the market come back. It's right in their backyard. Waukegan does not have a farmers market, so we think there's a great opportunity to attract not only Waukegan residents to come, but also maybe some vendors and participants. So the categories that are sort of on the top of the line there are the ones where there's not necessarily there's a preference for Gurnee, but we're not limiting it to Gurnee. So growers, we already have commitments from about 5 or 6 different vendors that kind of fall into those first two categories of growers and artisans. So I think that's a fabulous start. Initially, I thought we might find ourselves at a go, no-go decision here pretty soon. I really don't see that happening. I think we're seeing enough strong interest already that I just don't think we'll be at a no-go. I'd be very surprised. So the prepared food You need food at an event, at a special event, at a market. We'd like our Gurnee restaurants to apply. We hope they do. We're going to encourage them to do so. I would encourage you to encourage the ones that you patronize to do so. Any Gurnee business in any category will receive a 15% discount off the market fees, which are there at the top. Those are full fees. And any East Grand business will be completely free. And that applies whether it's an East Grand bricks and mortar business, or if it's a resident who lives on the east side of town and has a home-based business, they'll also be given a free booth for. So the categories there below the line are the ones where we're really focusing on our own business community. So East Grand, no fee across any category. Bring your wares. Just come and provide information, whatever you want to do, come one, come all. Gurnee bricks and mortar, we certainly have a preference for our own bricks and mortar businesses. They'll receive a 15% discount. Home-based marketers, same thing. You typically find a lot of duplicates in that category, so we're really telling people right up front, we don't see anyone other than a Gurnee resident probably being allowed in under the home-based marketing. We just think there's probably enough of that product with our own residents. And we will give preference to East Grand. And then, of course, our nonprofit organizations. So there have been some wonderful suggestions already thrown out. Invite the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts to start their fall, recruitment drives. The library bookmobile. We have one resident who's been attending our meetings who's reaching out to the library to get that going, and also to the District 56 band director to get some music there. So I think we're going to have a nice selection. Another suggestion that was made was the Wadsworth Freedom Farm, which we heard about at a recent meeting, and worked with the American Legion to invite them to be there. So nonprofits will have no fee. They're welcome to come, provide information. They're also welcome to sell products. The only thing we ask is they don't compete with the other vendors at the market. So we want to make sure they keep cutting back. So Julie, who manages the Grays Lake Market, has obviously started. She's finding that she is already full. Her market is full for the summer. So as she turns away vendors, she's suggesting that they come to our market, which is fantastic. We're also she's reaching out to all of the Gurnee farmers market, the ones that formerly came to our Gurnee market, so they'll get a personal phone call or email inviting them to come back. And then beyond that, it's a matter of networking and finding. So if you encounter, if you go to other markets and encounter vendors that you like, we're certainly open to those suggestions. I think where I need your help probably the most from the board is spreading the word among our local businesses, nonprofits, artists that that might like to exhibit. There's really no reason why we couldn't make this a multi-medium sort of market. So we're happy to have all that. We do have entertainment already provided for. We have children's entertainment booked. We have juggling, magic, music, bubbles, dancing. It's a great little, Karen and I, Trustee Thorstensen and I saw him at the Grays Lake Market, and I think we both felt that he was very adaptable to the crowd and will be a nice addition. So that is set. And other than that, we've got wide open doors. So don't hesitate to send things our way. So really, the purpose tonight was just to let you know what we're doing. This week, recruitment will start hard and heavy with our business community. The application forms will be on the website. We'll start putting out Facebook posts, and so we're ready as soon as those businesses decide that they're ready. We don't have a hard cutoff at this point. I think we'll take vendors as long as we feel that we can safely accommodate them. So I won't even put out an end date yet. We'll just say, encourage applications, and we'll be ready for them probably by the end of this week.
Do you have a number of vendors, a maximum number that you think you can accommodate?
It's a great question. Right now we're planning for 25 to 30, which seems to be about the range that Gurnee at the Park District, when they were running it, seemed to attract on a weekly basis. So we think that's about the right number. Probably, honestly, I think I'd be thrilled at that number. The first year, that's reaching pretty high. So, but we're planning for that in case we hit it.
And power-wise, for the vendors that are cooking and that, is there an extensive amount of power available?
So we will reach out to Burris.
Yeah, when we work with Burris for Beer Fest, and they donate a generator for the day, so we'll probably reach out to them to see if they can donate a generator. We won't need a generator as big for the farmers market, but if they could help us out, work with them, and if they can't donate it for free, see if they'll cut us a deal on it. But they've been really good to work with in the past, so reach out for opportunities like that. We can get people to donate.
Right.
Okay. And are you allowing food trucks?
Well, I'd rather have our restaurants if we can, but again, it's a great point, because the reason we didn't put an exclusive to Gurnee on the restaurants is because we have to have food at the event, certainly. So and it is very expensive, both from a equipment moving standpoint and also a labor standpoint for restaurants to basically have a booth and outside and have the staff to do it on a Sunday, and so it can be very expensive. So if we don't get that response, we will open it up to other restaurants, and then if we have to, we'll go food trucks.
Okay.
The food trucks are fun. It'd just be nice to have the locals get a chance at this one. So we already have talked to Norm, Big Norm, and he has asked for the exclusive on selling like hot dogs and Italian beef, things that he doesn't, because he's an East Grand business. That's what this is about. So we'll do that. And other East Grand, there's not a lot of restaurants that necessarily may fall into that category, but he's on board, I believe. So. So anyway, this is I can't say enough great about the committee that's been working on this. They're small; it's a small group, but I think we're really poised this year to expand, to widen the circle. We've sort of used this group as a steering committee since they showed that they were very actively wanting to be involved, and so we kind of used them that way. But in 2018, I think we're ready to widen that circle, and it just takes kind of a knock on the door to explain to the other businesses on East Grand what it is that we're trying to do. So that's one of the goals this year. Thank you to Trustee Thorstensen for her leadership of that committee, and for the committee for being, really gung-ho, and to the board for providing the marketing funds to allow us to do this.
Are there any other questions from the board?
Am I reading
Comments?
that? I'm sorry.
Trustee Garner?
Am I reading that correctly? $25 weekly?
Yes, so $20 for a 12 by 12 booth space, which is kind of typical, and then if they want to double 12 by 24, it's actually only a $5 increment. So a lot of the farmers take the larger spaces.
That's great.
Yeah, we're keeping the cost very low this year purposely.
Trustee Thorstensen, did you have?
Thanks, Ellen. You did a
Thank
fantastic
you.
job going through it all. And I think the total number of spots available could creep up there, and that's why I think it'd be, Ellen and I attended, for example, Gray's Lake Marketplace last summer, or maybe the summer before. And it was overrun by food trucks and not enough marketers. And so that's why we really do want to encourage our local businesses to be able to participate and fill up those spaces with that. I just wanted to ask, do we have a next steps then of a East Grand meeting?
So next steps, we are looking to host a meeting of the East Grand businesses to cover a number of topics, certainly to introduce this. Although I think we also need to get a little creative this year and maybe do some digital outreach. So I'm hoping that Jack might help me to produce a little video and put that on the website and on the Facebook page, so that if they aren't able to attend an in-person meeting, they have that option. But the in-person meeting would cover construction. Put out a very comprehensive update recently as we got some feedback from IDOT about the status of the project, so we'll share that. That always comes up at every meeting that we attend, right? So that would certainly be covered. And then a full explanation of why we're doing this and how businesses can participate. And so that'll be within the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Thank you, because if you recall, we did have about 50 plus people in the PM East Grand session a year and a half ago, or a year ago, and a little less in the morning. So we anticipate a broader reach when we do that versus just hold our meetings that tend to be the same little.
Same time and same place every time. Yeah. So I think for the broad meeting where we'll invite and hope that we get a good showing, we'll do two days in a row, one in the morning, one in the evening, so we can hit everyone's schedule.
Okay, any other questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And Karen, thank you for helping on that. That's great.
Welcome. Great job, Ellen.
Thank you.
All right, moving on. Any old business?
No.
All right, to new business. First on the agenda is approval of ordinance 2018-35, granting final planned unit development plot plan approval to Market Square, Inc. for Phase 2 of Market Square at South Ridge, located at 6021 Washington Street.
Sure. So I'll give you a run through here. You had a memo from our planning manager, Tracy Velkover, on this one. So Market Square, which is down there on Washington Street and Cemetery, is in for Phase 2 to construct the second building on the site, which would be identical to the building that Dr. Honey is in right now. Originally came in preliminary PUD in 2011 that was approved, came in for the Phase 1, which was the first building in 2014. That was approved, and as I said, we're going to want to start working on the second building, or the second building out there. So Under the new zoning ordinance, the zoning administrator can take a look at the plans that are submitted and determine if they're in substantial conformance with the preliminary PUD. So David did that, ran through it, determined it was in substantial conformance with a couple conditions, which he outlined in his memo. I'll run through those quick. First condition was what the landscape screen that would be provided in the service court in lieu of masonry walls in the preliminary PUD. So they had some masonry walls between buildings 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So transitioning those to landscape versus masonry. Future phases of the development continue with the same building materials and architecture as phase 1 and phase 2, so everything's consistent. And then just that a landscape plan will be prepared for approval by village staff. That's in accordance with the preliminary PUD. So those are the 3 conditions that the zoning administrator was looking for. Otherwise, it is ready for your consideration. Petitioner Dan Riedel's here if there's any specific questions. But like I said, this is to get started on that second building out there, which will be a mirror image of what you see out there today.
Okay, are there any questions from the board?
I have a comment.
All right, trustee Garner?
Are you Dan?
Yes.
Thank you for putting up a beautiful project. Aesthetically, it's wonderful. Today, a lot of businesses put up anything, and I think aesthetically, it just works. I think for the next 20, 30 years, it will be relevant, and I appreciate the thought and the commitment and the investment that it takes to do that. So it's a good-looking project, and I welcome the second building.
Thank you very much. We're moving a little slow on it, but our realtor says that he's had more activity on our site than any other in Gurnee, so maybe we'll find some other users and look forward to it.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments?
Make a motion.
I have a motion from trustee Garner and a second from trustee Jacobs. Roll call, Andy, please.
Thorstensen.
Yes.
Jacobs.
Aye.
Garner.
Aye.
Balmas.
Aye.
Hood.
Abstain.
So it's 4 aye, 1 abstain.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, moving on to number 2, approval of ordinance 2018-36, modifying the definition of resort hotel by amending section 6-1 of the Gurnee Municipal Code entitled Alcoholic Beverages.
Sure. Class 11 liquor license was created when Key Lime Cove came in for a resort hotel. We had certain parameters put on that license, 300 rooms, 4,000 gross square feet of spa and fitness facilities, 1 full-service restaurant, and then an accessory recreational entertainment amenities such as, but not limited to, water park, theater, or golf course. With the renovation of the facility, they've removed the spa and reduced the size of the fitness facility, so that 4,000 gross square feet can't be met anymore. Obviously, it's still a resort hotel facility, so just to make sure everything's in compliance, staff took a look at this, worked with Attorney Winder. We're recommending that the B, which is the 4,000 gross square feet of spa and fitness facilities, be removed from the definition, and that we put a minimum square footage of 15,000 square feet be applied to subsection D, so an accessory recreational or entertainment amenity, a minimum of 15,000 square feet, such as water park, theater, or golf course. So that works within what the Great Work facility is, still maintains that threshold that just not any motel in town that puts in a pool or one slide meets the definition of resort hotel. They'll still have to fall under the Class 8 liquor license. So it's that change in the definition as was before you.
All right, any questions from the board? Comments?
Motion approved?
Second.
Motion by trustee Thorstensen and the second by trustee Garner. Roll call vote, Andy?
Thorstensen.
Yes.
Jacobs.
Aye.
Garner.
Aye.
Balmas.
Aye.
Hood.
Yes.
5 aye.
Okay, motion carried. All right, moving on. Approval of ordinance 2018-37, removing 1 Class 1 liquor license and 1 Class 7 liquor license by amending Section 6-56 of Article 2 of Chapter 6 of the Gurnee Municipal Code entitled Alcoholic Beverages. Reduction due to Joe's Crab Shack and Noodles and Company.
That pretty much does it all. So every year we do a reconciliation after the renewals are in, and if there's anyone that didn't renew or that went out of business, we remove those licenses so they're not hanging out there. So as you know, Joe's is no longer there, and Noodles, still in existence, but decided not to renew their license for beer. So it's just a reduction of those two licenses. All the other licenses are accounted for and currently held.
Okay. Questions,
Make a
comments?
motion.
Second.
Motion by trustee Garner, second by trustee Jacobs. Roll call vote, Andy?
Thorstensen.
Yes.
Jacobs. Garner.
Aye.
Balmas.
Aye.
Hood.
Yes.
5 aye.
All right, motion carried. Moving on, approval of issuing a Class 11 liquor license to Emilio Fabico. Is it Fabico?
Fabico.
Oh, Fabico. General Manager, Great Wolf Lodge, Illinois, 1700 Nations Drive.
Sure. So when Key Lime was closed and Great Wolf picked up the property, we knew they'd be coming forward for a license, so we didn't reduce the municipal code by one, being that that's the only facility in town that meets the criteria for that class liquor license. So getting ready to open here in July. So they've come in, filled out the application paperwork. Police department's done all the background checks on Emilio. Everything's come back clean. So he is before you here tonight. As I said, since we didn't amend the municipal code before, it doesn't need municipal code action, but to issue it to him and the Great Wolf facility. So
Okay. Any questions, comments?
Motion approved?
Second.
Okay, motion by trustee Thorstensen, a second by trustee Garner. Roll call vote, please, Andy?
Thorstensen.
Yes.
Jacobs. Garner.
Aye.
Balmas.
Aye.
Hood.
Yes.
5 aye.
All right. Number 5, approval of Public Works Department request to waive bidding requirements and purchase central hydraulic system, dump body, snowplow, tailgate, spreader, and spreader control system from Bonnell Industries at a cost not to exceed $52,096.95. And this is a replacement of Public Works units number 298 and 290.
yeah, we got started on this the last meeting with the chassis, you'll remember, and we were still waiting on numbers from Bonnell. So Bonnell is who we've been working with for a number of years now. They're a sole source sales for some of the equipment. We've been happy with the equipment, with the service. It maintains consistency across our trucks, so it's easier for our mechanics to work on versus having a mix and match. So this first one here is for the 1 ton. The chassis was approved at the last meeting. This is upfitting the truck with all the hydraulics, plows, et cetera. And I guess I'll mention, when we look at these 2 vehicles that Public Works had in the budget, when you add the total up on what was in the budget, we were about $12,000 short, so we're out by $12,000. There's going to be 3 vehicles that will be sold, so we're looking to put them online to get rid of them. So those 3 vehicles, we're confident will cover that $12,000 difference. So we'll be all right from a budget perspective, but just wanted to put that out there so everybody's aware of it. So at the end of the day, it'll be fine. But when you look at those 2 expense categories, when we get to the end of the year, they'll both be over by about $6,000.
Okay.
So this first one is for the 1 ton.
Okay. Any questions, comments? We have our,
Craig Lambrecht's here. He's our fleet administrator. If you have questions I can't answer.
So moved.
do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by trustee Jacobs, second by trustee Thorstensen. Roll call vote, Andy?
Thorstensen.
Yes.
Jacobs. Garner.
Aye.
Balmas.
Aye.
Hood.
Yes.
5 aye.
All right. Number 6, approval of Public Works Department request to purchase 1 Peterbilt 348 tandem axle chassis from the low bidder JX Peterbilt of Wadsworth, Illinois at a cost of $114,070.61. And that's Public Works Department Unit 294 replacement, right?
Yep. So the next 2 items are for the bigger plow. Included in the budget, we had funding for the replacement of 294. The current unit's a 2002 Freightliner, 1,400 hours. It's just getting worn out, and based on the age and the model, it's harder and harder for Craig and his crew to find parts for it. So it's in the budget for replacement. The Peterbilts are what we've been replacing the big trucks with the last couple of years, fluctuating between single axle and tandem axle. This is a tandem axle. There's not a state bid for this chassis, so we always work through the National Joint Power Alliance via JX Peterbilt up in Wadsworth to obtain pricing. That came at $114,70.61. just a little bit over what the price was last year. I think it was up $1,000 or $2,000 compared to the chassis last year, so not too much based on what we're seeing the price of steel and everything else doing. So the first one here is for the chassis, and then the second one, similar to what we did before, it's waiving the bidding requirements and awarding the upfitting of the vehicle to Bonnell Industries out in Dixon.
Okay, questions, comments?
So moved.
Second.
We have a first from trustee Jacobs, a second from trustee Thorstensen. Roll call vote. Andy, please.
Thorstensen.
Yes.
Jacobs.
Aye.
Garner.
Aye.
Thomas.
Aye.
Hood.
Yes.
5 aye.
All right, and number 7 on our agenda, approval of request from Public Works Department to waive bidding requirements and purchase central hydraulic system, hook lift system, dump body, snow plow, wing plow, tailgate spreader, and spreader control system from Bonnell Industries at a cost not to exceed $162,169.80. And this is replacement for the Public Works Unit number 294.
Yeah, not much else to say. I mean, sticking with the hook lifts, we've had good luck with them, can interchange the boxes on them. And again, I mean, they're building these trucks to last 20 years, 15, I'm pushing 20 years, over 15 years. So, I mean, it's a big investment, but they're building them right, and we've been seeing the results already as far as how they hold up on the roads and stuff, as far as breakdown and repairs. I mean, it's significantly reduced compared to the equipment that we were speccing 10, 15 years ago. So, get what you pay for.
I'll have to work with that. Okay. Questions, comments?
So moved.
Second.
Motion from trustee Jacobs, a second from trustee Garner. Roll call vote, Andy?
Thorstensen.
Yes.
Jacobs.
Aye.
Garner.
Aye.
Thomas.
Aye.
Hood.
Yes.
5 aye.
All right. There being no more on the agenda, we'll open the floor again to public comment. Going once, going twice. Okay. Take a motion.
So moved.
Motion by trustee Jacobs.
Second.
Second by trustee Garner. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned.